Chapter 61 Purchase in Large Quantities. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. There doesn't seem to be much space on the shelves in front. Let's pick up 5 more pieces of high-quality armor. Chilo stood up and looked at the 2 shelves in the store. It seems that we have to find a way to expand the store again, otherwise, in the future, even if there are more purchasing channels, but there is no place to display the goods, all the efforts will be in vain. After throwing in 3 spiritual crystals, the system returned 50 gold coins, excellent grade armor egg pool, 5 consecutive draws. Let's start. Refined chain armor, wind spirit light armor, bracers of strength, anti-magic cloak, wind spirit light armor. A small amount of the user's physical defense is increased, and it also has a lightness effect. Lightness, a small increase in the user's speed, bracers of strength. A small increase in the user's physical defense, with a heavy wrist effect. Heavy wrist, a small increase in the user's wrist strength, anti-magic cloak, a small increase in the user's magic defense, and comes with a magic shield effect. Magic shield, when attacked by magic, a shield is generated that can resist a small amount of magic damage. After the magic shield is broken, it enters a 1-day cooldown. There is a huge difference between excellent grade and ordinary grade. In fact, if you think about it, just looking at the price, the difference is 20 times. But, the system, can this wristband and light armor really provide the same defense? Chilo ran into the warehouse and picked up a wristband that was not much bigger than a watch, waited for a while. System, special instructions for the armor. The defense provided is only reflected in the armor. Really. Although the descriptions of the products produced by the system are very similar to those in the game, but the real effect is not like in the game, where wearing armor can increase the defense of the whole body. Instead, the attack must be blocked with armor to be useful. The parts that are not covered by armor are still fragile no matter how fragile they are, but if it's an armor with a magic shield effect like the anti-magic cloak, that's a different matter. Okay, let's just put in this much armor for the time being. Next, it's time for what I want most, the pool of high-quality elixir eggs. When Chilo mentioned this, he couldn't help but cheer. He has been coveting those pills that can permanently increase attributes, even if one can only increase attributes by about 3 levels. If the 3 are added together, there are 9 levels, and, most importantly, the elixir does not take up much space on the shelf and is a consumable item, can be purchased in large quantities. Let's start with 30 rounds of ordinary level elixir eggs. Chilo casually pressed the lottery button. After all, the market for healing pills is still huge. Consumables like elixirs are not like weapons and armor. Naturally, the higher the equipment, the better, but elixirs need to be used according to their purpose. Healing elixirs such as healing elixirs are, in some cases, more useful than those high-grade elixirs. This time, no new elixirs were drawn from the ordinary level elixir egg pool. However, the proportion of healing pills appearing is quite high. Come on, give me 20 rounds of high-quality elixirs. Chilo is now really addicted to this lottery-type purchase, because he has absolutely no idea what kind of elixir he can draw out next. Wind spirit pill, bloodbath pill, bravery pill, wind speed pill, spiritual wisdom pill, demon blood pill, ice and snow pill. 20 rounds of high-quality elixir eggs were drawn from the pool, and a total of 5 new high-quality elixirs appeared, as well as 2 rare-level elixirs that appeared for the first time. Chapter 62 Restrictions on the Use of Rare Elixirs. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. Among them, Yongli Dan, Feng Su Dan, and Lingji Dan are upgraded versions of Xiao Yongli Dan, Xiao Feng Su Dan, and Xiao Lingji Dan respectively. After taking it, the temporarily increased attributes are just a little higher, and other high-quality elixirs. Wind Spirit Pill permanently improves the user's agility by a small amount. Each person is limited to 3 pills in a lifetime, with no usage restrictions. Blood Bathing Pill permanently increases the user's minimal recovery speed and strength. Each person is limited to 3 pills in a lifetime, with no usage restrictions, as well as 2 new rare-level elixirs. Demon Blood Pill permanently increases the user's attack power and recovery speed by a small amount. Each person is limited to 1 pill in a lifetime. Usage restriction, Berserker, Ice and Snow Pill, permanently increases the user's condensation speed and power of a small amount of ice magic. Each person is limited to one pill in a lifetime. Use restriction, Ice Element Magician. Usage restrictions. In fact, if you want to ask Chi-Lo why he doesn't continue to draw high-quality elixir egg pools, this usage restriction is probably a big reason for him to quit. What are these? Rare elixirs that can only be used by professional classes. Chi-Lo clutched his chest tightly, feeling a burst of sadness. In fact, Chi-Lo was mentally prepared from the first time he drew the rare weapon, the dragon-marked giant axe. After all, the professional class is completely different from the brave class. Forget it, my heart is broken, I won't smoke anymore. Chi-Lo sighed quietly, then moved the things out of the warehouse and filled the shelves. This time there is a new store building, the Combat Power Improvement Training Room. The entrance is on the right side of the counter. There is a counter separated from the trial room. The night is already deep. After Chi-Lo finished moving the goods, he dragged his tired body and lay on the bed. After only a few hours of sleep, the first hint of white fish belly appeared outside, in the cloud forest. Last night's Warcraft riot seemed as if it had never happened. The shops in Yunwu City are open as always. Chi-Lo grabbed his messy hair and went to the breakfast shop to buy 2 drawers of steamed buns. He returned to the shop and enjoyed them slowly behind the counter. Just after finishing the basket of steamed buns, a customer came outside the door. "Boss, I'm here again. This time I'm bringing you a new customer. Can you make that giant axe cheaper?" Hu Shou said with his usual loud voice. All the sleepiness that Chi-Lo had had was driven away. "No, my products are worth the money." Chi-Lo calmly put down the buns in his hand and said expressionlessly. "You're still the same, you haven't changed at all." Hu Shou laughed. He just asked, and Hu Shou was still very satisfied with the furious great sword. "Xue Lang, see for yourself what you need. This is the boss I told you. If you don't understand anything, just ask him." Hu Shou said and greeted the man who came in with him. "Yeah." Xue Lang nodded and observed the products on the shelf. "Hey, boss, when did you start selling these armors here?" Hu Shou also followed the search, and then asked in surprise. "It started today." Chi-Lo put the buns away under the counter as he spoke. "I was wondering if there would be other equipment, but I didn't expect it to actually appear." Hu Shou selected for a long time before picking up a piece of refined chain armor. Chi-Lo also introduced the properties of refined chain armor at the same time. Sometimes Chi-Lo also wonders when the system will be able to list these products with their respective introductions. However, the system's answer is, the store manager level is too low, so Chi-Lo can only introduce it himself. Chapter 63 Big Fat Sheep. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. 200 spiritual crystals, it looks pretty good. The shape alone feels worth the price. Hu Shou directly put on the refined chain armor on his body. At least the taste of the system is pretty good, and every piece of equipment looks good. The refined chain armor is worn on the sturdy Hu Shou, making him look even more majestic and heroic. "And this wrist guard, boss, can you explain why a wrist guard is the same price as a piece of chain mail?" Hu Shou had no doubts, just pure curiosity. However, Chi-Lo also wanted to ask this question. However, pricing is a system thing. The bracer of power comes with a heavy wrist effect. If necessary, you can try it. Chi-Lo introduced the effect of the bracer of power expressionlessly. Avoid talking about pricing. Sounds good, but if you buy this, you'll be one step further away from my giant axe. Hu Shou complained, but still put the wristband of strength on his arm. "Cheng Wei, there are 400 spiritual crystals in total. Boss, I want to know how many healing pills you have here." Xue Lang looked at the shelves for a long time before coming to the counter. As Hu Shou said, nothing in this store is cheap. Even the captain of an elite mercenary team like Xuelang felt a little nervous when he saw these prices. After all, the Blood Wolf needs to take care of an entire mercenary team, while the Tiger Hunter only needs to take care of himself. But the magic medicine of healing pill is absolutely necessary for a mercenary team. This minimizes the casualty rate of the mercenary squad. "If you need." Chi Legon wanted to say, "If you need it, you can get as much as you want," but the system's voice rang in Chi Li's mind before Chi Lo could finish this sentence. System, trigger mission, the first big fat sheep. System, task content. As a store manager, there is a person standing in front of you who may become a big fat sheep. I think you should know what to do. During the task, the system will try its best to cooperate with the host. System, task reward, a new store renovation coupon, and a new idea of the host during the task will be randomly retained. Upon hearing the trigger of the new mission, Chi Lu immediately closed his mouth and looked thoughtful. However, the system's wording sounds really weird. What's wrong, boss? Is there not much inventory? Shui Lang looked at Chi Li's expression, was stunned for a moment, and then patted his chest and said, "Don't worry, I won't be stingy with this kind of elixir, which is a matter of life and death for my brothers." "No, that's not what I want to say." Chi Lu glanced at the blood wolf and then said slowly, "If I guess correctly, you should be the captain of a mercenary team. For a big fat sheep, no, a big customer, you must know the customer's identity in order to recommend better products to him." "Yes, I am the captain of the Blood Wolf Squad, Blood Wolf." When mentioning the mercenary squad, the Blood Wolf was a little proud. After all, the fact that the Blood Wolf team ranks among the 3 major mercenary groups in Cloud Mist City is enough to illustrate his ability. Him. Chi Lu looked at Hu Shou. Why does this guy become inexplicably proud when he talks about the mercenary team? Yes, Shui Lang is the captain of the mercenary team. Boss, you can do whatever you want. Hu Shou saw Chi Li's confused eyes and quickly spoke up to smooth things over. Chapter 64. If you are a brother, come and chop me down. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. Chi Lu nodded, then looked at the Blood Wolf and continued, "You want to buy healing pills in large quantities, but you are probably afraid of too many casualties. Then I think that instead of using healing pills to heal injuries, it is better to directly strengthen the strength of your mercenary team and reduce the possibility of injury." After hearing Chi Li's words, Shuolang froze on the spot. After thinking about it carefully, Shui Lang also felt that what Chi Lu said made sense. I wonder what the boss has up his sleeve. Shui Lang sincerely asked for advice. It's very simple. You can look at the armor and weapons on the shelves. In this way, you will get the answer you want. Chi Lu suggested logically. Boss, don't be ridiculous, these things, the equipment in our mercenary team are the best in Yinwu City. Shui Lang couldn't help laughing when he heard this. The Blood Wolf team can always be ranked among the 3 major mercenary groups, and they will never be careless about equipment. Chi Lu put his hands behind his back and quietly wiped off the oil from the buns he had eaten. Then he said slowly, "Since you are so confident, you might as well try the armor and weapons in my store before making a final decision." Boss, it's a good thing to be confident in your own stuff, but being blindly confident is not a good thing. Shui Lang said confidently, completely ignoring the strange look in Hu Shou's eyes next to him. However, since you said so, then I will let you be convinced of the defeat. Shui Lang drew out the dagger on his waist. Then let me do a little favor. Hu Shou smiled generously, then stood in front of the Blood Wolf, patted the refined chain armor on his body, and said, "Come on, just chop me with all your strength." "Yes, I just bought this from the store." "Hu Shou, we have been friends for such a long time and it's not good for me to cut you with a knife." Shui Lang hesitated. Because he didn't believe in the armor in Chi Li's shop. "Since you have been friends with me for such a long time, you know that I will definitely have a way to defend against your attack, so just go ahead and take action." Hu Shou waved his hand and said with a smile, unlike Shui Lang, Hu Shou believed in the products in Chi Li's shop. "Okay, then I'm welcome." The Blood Wolf summoned his fighting spirit, wrapped his dagger around it, and then slashed at Hu Shou. Clang! A crisp sound echoed in Chi Li's shop. The Blood Wolf was knocked back 3 steps by the defensive power of the refined chain armor before he stopped. Hu Shou was also shaken back a step by the impact, and after refining the chain armor, the power transmitted to him could be completely resolved by Hu Shou's fighting spirit. The defensive power of this chain armor is stronger than I thought. Hu Shou was quite pleasantly surprised. He touched the white marks on the refined chain armor and found that there seemed to be no damage, but the Blood Wolf's face was filled with astonishment, or rather, shocked. It's absolutely impossible to be able to completely defend against my slashes. The Blood Wolf's eyes widened and he couldn't believe what he saw. Even the stone-breaking demon ape cannot completely defend against the Blood Wolf's attack. That is a professional class monster, but this chainmail did it. Could it be that the defensive power of this mere piece of chain armor is actually stronger than the fur of a professional class monster? How about it? Just take it. After Hu Shou inspected the white mark, he teased Xue Lang. Submit. No, I have to use weapons that are unparalleled. Xue Lang swallowed and said unwillingly. Chapter 65 by. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. Weapon. Hu Shou glanced at the light armor on the Blood Wolf, compared with leather armor and cloth armor, which are mainly light and flexible. Although light armor sacrifices a small amount of flexibility, its defensive power is also much stronger. As the leader of the Blood Wolf team, the quality of the armor he wears is among the best in the team. Shua, that without saying a word, Hu Shou drew out the furious sword from behind and slashed at the Blood Wolf. Wait! Bang! Xue Lang was knocked back several steps by Hu Shou's attack and almost hit the counter. As for the light armor on the Blood Wolf, where it was hit by the furious sword, there was already a bright crack. However, in this attack, Hu Shou did not use any fighting spirit, just relying on the sharpness of the furious sword. Hu Shou, what are you doing? Isn't this the sword you used to kill the stone-breaking ape? Xue Lang roared angrily. A weapon that can cut off the stone-crushing demonic ape with one strike is worthy of the name of a divine weapon. At least as far as Xuelang knew, he had never heard of a forging master who could forge a weapon that could instantly cut off the body of a professional-level monster with just the warrior-level fighting spirit. That's right, but I bought this big sword at the boss's shop. Hu Shou put the furious sword back behind his back and teased again. What? You bought that big sword in this shop? Xue Lang's heart suddenly surged, and he was astonished beyond measure. In such a small shop, not only the incredible elixirs are sold, but also the armors and weapons are so powerful. How is this possible? However, this is exactly the truth. This small shop seems to be designed to break the impossible. How are you? Have you decided? Do you need to buy weapons and armor? Qilu asked warmly at this time. After all, this is the big fat sheep determined by the system, and we can't let him run away. Purchase. That the Blood Wolf came back to his senses and spoke decisively. Then he walked to the shelf and took a look at the price. Hu Shou, help me, I may have been a little dizzy from your beating just now. Can you tell me what the price is? 200 spiritual crystals. Hu Shou said seriously. No, it must be wrong. You saw it wrong too, right? Xue Lang covered his forehead, dumbfounded. However, he had to admit that 200 spiritual crystals were indeed worth the money. However, if he wants to use these weapons and armors to equip the entire Blood Wolf team, he may not be able to afford them even if he sells them. Oh, actually, the ones I recommend to you are the ones with 10 spiritual crystals each. Qilu looked at Xue Lang's unpredictable expression in front of the shelf and knew what he was thinking. Although it's not as good as the refined chain armor and furious sword you just tried, it should be better than what you are using now. Although the tone is calm, but in his words, there was unceremonious contempt for the dagger and light armor that the Blood Wolf was currently using. However, people do have the ability to despise. Although Xue Lang was unconvinced, after taking out ordinary light armor and sharp swords and trying them, he was still impressed by the quality of the weapons and armors in Qi Li's shop. Let's get 20 pieces of weapons and armor first. I'll choose the type. Xue Lang gritted his teeth and placed the order. Then, this refined chain armor, the wind spirit light armor, plus this ice crystal knight sword, that's all. Xue Lang is the captain after all, so his equipment must be better than that of his team members. Chapter 66 Pill Combination. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. Chenghui, 1,000 spiritual crystals. Qilu said expressionlessly, and the ordinary armor egg pool and ordinary weapon egg pool in his mind began to flash. This is indeed a big fat sheep, so big that Qilu needs to temporarily purchase it. In fact, the properties of ordinary level armor and weapons are basically the same, because the normal level does not have additional effects or skills, it is just different in type. Excellent level weapons and armor generally come with an effect or skill, but there are also not many types. Because Qilu has drawn so many prizes and purchased so many goods, the weapons and armors that have appeared, and even the types of elixirs, are very limited. Therefore, Qilu guessed that there should be many more purchase channels for the system. As for how many there are, we can only wait to discover them later. There are 43 pieces of equipment in total. Our store is not responsible for transporting them. How are you going to take them away? Qilu asked while preparing the goods that the blood wolf needed. This time Xuelang asked was stunned. In other stores, when they meet a big customer like him, they will treat him like a biological father. It is really the first store as good as the one in front of me. I'll hire a carriage right away, so I won't bother the boss. Xuelang said through gritted teeth, but I feel more helpless in my heart. There is no way. Who made the things in this store so good? If you don't buy them here, where can you buy them? As the captain of a mercenary team, Blood Wolf is responsible for the lives of the brothers in his team. Well, if there's anything else you need, you can continue reading. Qilu nodded, then he turned around and walked into the warehouse at the back. There aren't that many armors and weapons on the shelves, so we have to move out the goods we just bought. While moving the goods, Qilu also discussed with the system, I think I can also sell him some elixirs. Can the system combine the elixirs and sell them? System, please explain clearly to the host. The system will try its best to cooperate with the host's actions. Qilu rubbed his chin and said, for example, combine the healing pill with the little bravery pill and the little wind speed pill to make a warrior combination, and then sell it cheaper or something. In fact, what Qilu was really thinking about was what Xuelang said at the beginning, if he only needs healing pills, other pills will be difficult to sell. That's not as good as a discount combination promotion. System, analyzing host proposal. System, the proposal is approved. This proposal can become one of the reserved options after the mission ends. At the same time, the names of some groups also appeared in Qi Li's mind, hot-blooded combination, healing pill, little bravery pill, little wind speed pill, priced at 30 spirit crystals. The elixirs in the combination have additional special effects. Hot blood, the potency of the elixir is increased by 30%, and the user's attack power is slightly enhanced in a short period of time. Magic combination, rejuvenation pill, little spiritual wisdom pill, priced at 100 spirit crystals. The elixirs in the combination have additional special effects. Magic power, the potency of the elixir is increased by 30%, and the user's magical power is slightly enhanced in a short period of time. The combination of death and rebirth, intermittent pill, bravery pill, wind speed pill, priced at 240 spiritual crystals. Has special effects, death and rebirth. The effectiveness of the elixir is increased by 30%, and when 3 elixirs are used at the same time, the effect of death and rebirth is triggered. Before the effectiveness of the elixir ends, the user will have an immortal body. Chapter 67 Immortal Body. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. Immortal Body. Qilu almost jumped up in shock. System, is this immortal body the one I imagined? Qilu excitedly asked the system for confirmation. System, as the name implies, the user will never die before the effect of the medicine ends. Qilu was silent. According to the system, there are too many things to ponder. Half dead is not dead, forget it, just follow the system description. System, help me clear a row on the shelf where the elixirs are placed, and put all these elixir combinations on it. Qilu said while moving the armor and weapons. By the way, recharge me, and I'll draw the ordinary elixir egg pool for 30 consecutive times. I have a hunch that this combination can be a big hit. System, as you wish. Qi Li's strength has improved a lot after all, and dozens of armors and weapons were quickly brought out. The carriage is just outside. The boss will stay here. I can move the rest myself. At this time, Xuelang also walked in from outside the store. By the way, there are some other pills in the corner of the shelf. I think you might need them. Qilu nodded, returned to the counter, and said seemingly casually. I think I no longer have spiritual crystals, so I can go and get those elixirs. Shui Lang looked like he was about to cry but had no tears. It doesn't matter, you can take a look if you don't want to buy it. Qi Lu used a calm tone, trying not to sound like he was selling. Okay, then I'll take another look. Shui Lang finally gritted his teeth and walked to the shelf that Qi Lu mentioned. Qi Lu also took advantage of the situation and introduced the effects of those pill combinations in an understatement. This introduction made the Blood Wolf's eyes widen. Immortal body. Boss, can you say it again? I may not have heard you clearly just now. Shui Lang tried his best to appear not to care, but the excitement in his tone had already betrayed him. This immortal body, no matter what the real effect is, can avoid the death of teammates to the greatest extent, except it's a bit expensive. It's this combination of death and rebirth, right? Boss, give me one. Hu Shou, who was aside, said nothing and directly took the 3 small porcelain bottles on the shelf to the counter. 240 spiritual crystals were placed directly on the counter. Thank you for your patronage. Qi Lu silently put the spirit crystal into the collection box. Hu Shou, you. Shui Lang looked at Hu Shou with an embarrassed look. Didn't you realize that there are not many of these death and rebirth combinations? It's always a good idea to have a set of them with you. Hu Shou said eloquently. You are right. Shui Lang could only nod at Hu Shou's words. The medicinal effects of these elixirs are real treasures. This combination of death and rebirth, just like its name, is a combination of elixirs that can be used to fight for one's life. Keep a set with you just in case you need it. At critical moments, it can definitely be used to save lives. But this price. Shui Lang clenched his teeth tightly, almost breaking his teeth. Boss, 2 groups of dead and alive, and then 5 groups of hot-blooded groups. Shui Lang finally took out all his capital. At this moment, I'm afraid even the old savings you have saved for several years have been taken out. Hu Shou laughed. Thank you for your patronage, welcome to come again next time. Qi Lu said while slowly packing up the spiritual crystals. Chapter 68, Does Big Brother Eat Wolf Meat? You are listening at NovelsMyriad. Yes, I will definitely come again. Shui Lang responded with a forced smile, then got on the carriage outside the store and waved his riding whip. Snapped. It can be seen that Shui Lang is very depressed. Hu Shou said with a smile. Yeah. Qi Lu nodded. The system prompts also sounded in my mind. System. The mission is completed, the new store renovation coupons have been issued, and the elixir combination suggestions provided by the host have been retained. Since you have bought what you want, I won't bother you anymore. Next time I must save enough spiritual crystals to take that giant axe away. Hu Shou said hello and left. Qi Lu then took out the buns from under the counter and continued to enjoy them slowly. The coupons for the new store renovation were distributed next to Baozi. Qi Lu also looked at it for a while before he was sure. It was a simple piece of white paper with 6 big characters written on it, new store renovation coupon. If he hadn't seen those words, Qi Lu might have used this piece of paper to wipe his mouth. Manager Qi Lu, but before I finished eating the buns, a shout like a silver bell came from outside the store. It's a woman. Qi Lu was shocked in his heart, but he didn't panic at all. With lightning speed, he put the remaining buns into the counter. Can't you just let me finish my breakfast properly? Qi Lu thought this while putting on a standard expressionless face. Manager Qi Lu, it turns out you really opened a store in Yinwu City. Xiaoya walked into the store with an expectant look on his face and greeted Qi Lu energetically. So it's you guys. Come into the store and take a look around. If you don't understand, just ask me. Qi Li's memory is slightly longer than that of Goldfish. He recognized these 7 people at a glance. They were the ones he met last night. Mercenary team. We have been looking for it for a long time, but we didn't expect to find it in this place. Lan Yi also said hello to Qi Lu. It's indeed quite biased. Fei Xue also followed behind. Brother, do you want to eat wolf meat? This was roasted this morning. Lan Zier, who was wearing heavy armor, ran to the counter with excitement and handed over a small piece of roasted wolf meat. Thanks. Qi Lu did not refuse the little girl's kindness. After taking the wolf meat, he pointed to one of the shelves and said, "The heavy armor is over there." "Okay, Zier will go over first." Lan Zier ran away with a smile. Chilo looked at the tower shield that Lan Zier carried on her back, which was taller than herself, and asked in her mind, "System, shield, is it a weapon or an armor?" System, shields are a special type and exist in both the weapon egg pool and the armor egg pool, but the chance of appearing is extremely low. "Chi Lu, do you have any better staff here?" Nalan Chinchi also ran over at this time. "Yes, there is. It's on the shelf over there." Chi Lu pointed the direction for little Lolita Nalan. "Then I'll go take a look." The little Loli ran away happily. "Thank you for the elixir for what happened last night." Yojo thanked Chi Lu. "You're welcome. You already said thank you last night, and you paid." Chi Lu nodded. "Chi Lu, does this staff have any effect?" Before he could say a few words, Nalan Chinchi ran over with a staff from the shelf. Chi Lu glanced at it and said, "Frost staff." In fact, there are not many types of staffs in the store. Among the high-quality staffs, there is currently only one type of frost staff. Chapter 69. Another one buying healing pills. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. The frost staff is great. It goes well with my ice magic. Nalan Chinchi has long been determined to become an ice magician, and the frost staff will make her even more powerful. Chilo looked at the happy look on the little Loli's face, pondered for a moment, and then asked, "Are you planning to become an ice elemental magician?" The true determination of a professional rank can only be accomplished by passing the trial of the professional class and obtaining the seal of the professional class. Therefore, Nalan Chinchi can only be regarded as a preliminary ice element magician at best. That's right. Nalan Chinchi didn't hide anything. Everyone in Lanya's team knows this. On the shelf over there is a ice and snow pill. Chilo suggested to Nalan Chinchi, after being influenced by the system. Although Chilo will not aggressively promote his products, he will occasionally make suggestions. After all, there is no telling when this elixir with restricted use will be available for sale. Although Chi Li's voice was not loud, it could still be heard clearly in this small store. The introduction of Bingshu Dan came slowly from Chi Li's mouth. Those who were still picking at the shelves all turned their attention. "Store manager, are you kidding me?" Lan Yi said extremely seriously. "How could such a pill exist?" "Manager, you are too joking." Lan Qinger obviously didn't believe it. "Store manager, let's be more practical. Why don't you have any daggers in your store?" Yojo changed the subject directly. "This kind of elixir that is beyond common sense is an existence that is unimaginable. It's normal not to believe it." "Manager Chi Lu, how much of the healing pill do you still have here?" Xiaoya basically didn't listen to what Chilo said. Xiaoya is in the team and plays an auxiliary position. Most of the magic she learned was auxiliary magic. So before coming to the store, Xiaoya was most concerned about the healing pill, because before becoming a priest, the effects of healing magic were very weak. Another one who only buys healing pills, Chilo was really troubled. There is something wrong with his current purchasing model. There is no way to only purchase healing pills. If all the healing pills are really sold, the other pills will probably be unsaleable. Actually, I recommend you to buy those pill combinations more than healing pills. Chi Lu was silent for a while before speaking seriously. Elixir combination? That's right, currently available in the store are hot-blooded combinations, magic combinations, and death and rebirth combinations. Chi Lu nodded, and then explained in detail the elixirs in the combination and the effects of these elixirs. The more he spoke, the brighter Xiaoya's eyes became. The effects of these pill combinations each fit her role as an auxiliary in the team, especially the effect of the immortal body. It is definitely a miraculous effect. Chi Lu, wait a minute, you haven't finished speaking yet. Is that ice and snow pill real? Nalan Chinchi patted the counter in dissatisfaction and pouted. Of course it's true, but the ice and snow pill can only be used after becoming an ice element magician. Chi Lu paused, and then continued. However, if you just want to improve your attributes, there are actually other options, such as the body strengthening pill, the wind spirit pill, and the blood bathing pill. Chila pointed out the locations of the pills on the shelf as he spoke. Chapter 70 Trying the Wind Spirit Pill. You are listening at NovelsMyriad. Every time I mentioned the effects of these elixirs, the eyes of the people in the store would widen. When all 3 elixirs were finished, Lan Yi and others' eyes almost popped out of their heads. Using elixirs to improve attributes is something you can probably only hear about here. Elsewhere, it's not even a thought. Store manager, are you really kidding? Lan Yi was so excited that her tone trembled. 3 levels of attributes may be nothing in the eyes of the strong, because the higher the level of the trial space, the more attributes will be comprehensively improved after the trial is successful. To give a simple example, in the brave level trial space, after a successful trial, the attributes may only be fully improved by about 10 levels. As for the hero level trial space, after a successful trial, the attributes will be fully improved to at least 50 levels, or even more. This is why the stronger the person, the greater the gap between levels: brave man, rank, master, hero, strong man, king, emperor, one step at a time. There are many factors involved. However, in the brave level, and even in the professional level, the attributes of these 3 levels are very important improvements. The limit level of the brave class is level 40, and the limit level of the professional class is level 60. As for elixirs such as bodybuilding pills, each person can use 3, nearly 10 levels of attributes are definitely a big improvement for the brave or professional level. If there are enough elixirs to improve attributes, Lan Yi can be sure that the strength of Lan Ye's team will definitely be improved to a big level. Store manager, how many bodybuilding pills, wind spirit pills and bloodbath pills do you have here? Fei Xue asked the key question calmly. Yes, they are all on the shelves. Chila gestured to the shelves. This kind of elixir that permanently improves attributes has a much lower chance of being shipped than elixirs that temporarily improve attributes like Brave Power Pill. On average, it takes 5 courage pills to produce 1 bodybuilding pill, so there is nothing Chila can do. You don't mind if we try it in the store? Of course, we will pay. Fei Xue picked up a wind spirit pill from the shelf. 80 spiritual crystals are very cheap compared to the effect of the elixir. As a swordsman, Fei Xue's agility is a very important attribute. It's just that before choosing a class, the attributes improved by each small level are balanced. Only after obtaining the seal of the class and receiving the blessing of the power of heaven and earth, the various attributes improved after upgrading will show improvements corresponding to the class. For example, knights focus on physical fitness, magicians focus on mental strength, and berserkers focus on strength. After putting down the spirit crystal, Fei Xue took a few deep breaths before putting the wind spirit pill into his mouth. In an instant, the wind spirit pill turned into a stream of cool energy and poured into Fei Xue's body. Fei Xue could clearly feel that her body seemed to be a little lighter. Her reaction speed was a little faster, and her shooting speed was also faster, although in terms of system description, it is an agile attribute, but when it comes to the body, there are many changes. However, no matter what, the effect of the elixir is real. Fei Xue, how are you? Lan Yi looked at Fei Xue nervously, her face full of expectation. After being silent for a long time, Fei Xue slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a breath of white air that was as blue as a musk deer.